Hey everybody, this is Miss Fanta at Andrew Johnson. Today we're going to talk about author's craft in our Module 6 and a little bit about what author's craft means. And then we're going to read a short text set and we're going to talk about the author's craft that was used inside of it. So let me make sure that you all can see this okay. Make sure that's centered up just fine. Alright, so author's craft is the language and techniques a writer uses to make his or her writing interesting or to communicate ideas to the reader. So you have this list of different techniques that the author is going to use, including voice, mood, anecdote, language, and a hyperbole. So the author's voice is what makes their writing style unique. Depending on the type of writing that they're going to be doing is going to show the voice that they're going to be using to get across the message that they want the reader to understand. Next you have mood. That's the emotions and feelings that the author is trying to elicit from the reader. So you might see in different genres of writing different moods that are going to be used. You have mystery, fantasy, maybe a news article. If you're writing a news article, usually that's kind of a serious or thoughtful type of writing, so it's not going to be suspenseful or surprising or super exciting. It's just informational. So an anecdote, and I love using anecdotes in my teaching and writing, it's going to be a short, funny, or interesting story related to a character or events. So you might see your teachers do that sometimes. They're going to try to relate life experiences to what you might be learning about. So that would be an example of an anecdote. Language that's used, you're going to have some strong sensory language that's used. Listed here, it has vocabulary, precise nouns, sensory words, vivid verbs that make the text more interesting. So the example given is each kernel of the buttery popcorn crunched loudly in Selma's mouth. So you all know what a kernel is, a kernel of popcorn, and then it gives you a description of what that kernel was like when she bit down onto them. Next is a hyperbole, and we use hyperboles a lot. Those are exaggerations that are going to make things sound bigger, better, and more than what they truly are. So an example of a hyperbole is, "That's the best idea I've ever heard in my life." Well, maybe it's not really the best idea somebody's heard, but to get their point across, they're going to say it was the best idea that they've ever heard. So the reading that we're going to be doing today, give me just a second to pull it over here, is going to deal with our Module 6 unit, and it's the beginning piece of that Module 6. And it's going to be called Let's Get Creative. It's an informational text, so that should help you understand a little bit that the mood, or of the mood that the author's trying to create here. I'm going to try to fix where it's a little fuzzy. So let me see if I can't fix that. That should make it better. Alright. It says here, no matter what form their creations take, all artists have similar goals. Artists explore what it means to be a person, to think, feel, and be. They're interested in sharing something of themselves as well as provoking emotions in other people, their audience. Using a variety of tools, including words, music, paint, and movement, they make people laugh, cry, fear, hope, and wonder. So as we're reading through this, I want you to pay close attention to those highlighted words. Those are your big idea words throughout this section, and those are some ideas, words that you're going to be thinking about as you read all the text selections in this module. Storytelling. People have been using words creatively for many thousands of years. Storytelling began long ago before people invented writing. Back then, people passed stories along orally. The oldest known written story is a classic tale, the Tale of Gilgamesh, which pays tribute to an honored king. And if you look at this word honored here, why do you think that the author chose that word? That would be one of those specific words an author would choose to kind of fit with their craft and what they're trying to get across. So think about what the word honored means and why they would use it there. It was first written on clay tablets in the late 2nd or early 3rd millennium BCE. Today's storytellers have many ways to share their work: books, plays, screenplays, magazines, and blogs. Even tweets and text messages can be creative. Writers can use words, letters, and even emojis to communicate ideas. Writers' stories describe places, people, and events of all kinds. Some are fantastic, such as an interplanetary friendship set in the distant future. Others are more realistic, such as a lonely student struggling to fit in at a new school. Writers often use dialogue to help readers understand characters' relationships, moods, and motives. Moving on. Oh, if I can get my page here. Visual art. Carved stone and shell beads from Africa are the oldest known examples of visual art. Some experts think that some of these objects of art were created about 75,000 years ago. In Europe, people made stone carvings and simple yet striking cave drawings more than 35,000 years ago. Over the centuries, ancient artists used a variety of media, from clay and cloth to bone and wood, to make objects that were beautiful and often useful as well. These ancient artifacts tell us stories about what it was like to live long ago. Modern visual artists tell stories and provoke emotion by painting with oils, acrylics, and watercolors. They carve in wood and stone and sculpt in clay. They work with metal, plaster, cloth, and many other materials. They take photographs, digital tools, from cameras to computers and cell phones, enable artists to collect, duplicate, and alter images to create art. Digital art can reach audiences all over the world. Music and movement. Music has been around since ancient times. The first musical instrument was the human voice. The oldest known crafted instruments, flutes made from bone and ivory and discovered in Europe, are about 40,000 years old. Since that time, humans have used many other instruments, from animal skin drums to synthesizers, to make music. Today's musicians may perform before thousands of fans, and many share recorded music digitally with millions of fans. Yet these artists have the same goal as the earliest music makers. They want to connect with others through the power of sound. In the art of dance, movement expresses emotion. The first dances were probably performed in religious ceremonies. Later, people began to dance as a way to socialize and have fun. Ballet and modern dance use music and movement to tell stories or evoke moods. So our question there is, what does it mean when they say that dance can evoke a mood? I want you to think about that question. What does it mean that dance can evoke a mood? What does it mean to evoke something? To bring out. There's no limit to the ways humans can express themselves. Maybe the future will bring new, unimaginable art forms. One thing is for certain, though. The human urge to create will always enrich our world. So I want you to go back to this last statement here, this last sentence, starting with one and ending with world. And I want you to think about the strong and precise language that the author has used to craft that particular sentence. Okay, there might be a few words that just stand out to you as maybe the most important. Okay, thank you guys.